Hello friends, how are you? As you know, today the entire world is facing a crucial situation of pandemic disease COVID-19, and it is our prime duty to stay home and stay safe along with our family members. I hope you are safe along with your family members in your hometowns, and also I hope you are doing the examination preparation smoothly. In this regard, I want to revise some important chapters from the examination point of view for the subject hydraulics and pneumatics. Today we will consider the first chapter, that is Introduction to Hydraulics. As you know that it carries 20 marks and it includes some definitions, some pressure measuring devices, a very simple chapter and also easy to score. Some important questions you can expect from these chapters are: the question is, what is a fluid, and explain the different types of fluid. So you know that fluid is a substance that can flow and also that does not maintain a fixed shape, and we can classify the fluids in the different methods. The fluids may be classified as: the first one is ideal fluid. This fluid is incompressible and it does not have any viscosity. Second is real fluid. It is a fluid which can be compressed and it has a viscosity property. Third is Newtonian fluid, which is the fluid for which the shear stress is directly proportional to the rate of shear strain, and for this fluid the shear stress is less than yield stress. The fourth one is non-Newtonian fluid. It is a fluid for which shear stress is not proportional to shear strain. The next one is ideal plastic fluid. It is a fluid for which shear stress is proportional to shear strain and shear stress is here more than the yield stress. That is the difference between the ideal plastic fluid and the Newtonian fluid, because in Newtonian fluid the shear stress is less than the yield stress. Here the shear stress is greater than the yield stress. And he will also ask some important definitions, and the very commonly asked definitions are: the first one, mass density, which is also called as density. It is represented as rho. It is defined as the mass per unit volume at STP, that is standard temperature and pressure. Therefore, rho is equal to mass of the fluid divided by volume of the fluid. Hence, its unit is kg per meter cube. For water, the density of water or mass density of water is taken as 1000 kg per meter cube. In solving the problems, he may not give the value of density of water. We can take the standard value at STP is 1000 kg per meter cube. The next one is weight density, which is also known as specific weight. It is represented as W. It is defined as the weight per unit volume at STP. That is, W is equal to weight of the fluid divided by volume of the fluid. Hence, its unit is Newton per meter cube. And for water, the weight density is taken as 9810 Newton per meter cube or 9.810 kilonewton per meter cube. The another definition is specific volume, which is defined as the volume per unit mass. That is, specific volume is equal to volume of the fluid divided by mass of the fluid. Hence, the unit is meter cube per kg. Another definition is specific gravity, which is denoted as S. It is defined as the ratio of specific weight of the liquid to specific weight of water. As both numerator and denominator contains the same unit, hence it is a unitless or dimensionless quantity. The another important definition is viscosity, which is defined as the property of a fluid by which it offers resistance to the movement of one layer of the fluid over the another adjacent layer. If the two layers are moving with respect to each other, so there is a resistance between these two layers, and which is known as a viscosity. And this viscosity is, again, there are two types. One is a dynamic viscosity, represented as tau. This dynamic viscosity is defined as the tangential force per unit area required to move one layer of liquid with respect to another layer at unit velocity having unit distance apart. The another one is coefficient of dynamic viscosity. It is defined as shear stress required to produce unit rate of shear strain, and its units are Newton second per meter square, and commercially it is also called as poise, and 1 poise is equal to 1/10 of Newton second per meter square. So another viscosity type is kinematic viscosity, which is defined as the ratio of dynamic viscosity to the density of fluid. That is, nu is equal to dynamic viscosity divided by density. Hence the unit is meter square per second, or it is also known as stoke, and 1 stoke is equal to 10 raised to minus 4 meter square per second. The another commonly used definition is surface tension. Sometimes you will ask surface tension explanation. Surface tension is defined as the tensile force acting on the surface of a liquid in contact with the gas or the surface between the two immiscible liquids. The unit of surface tension is Newton per meter. The another definition is capillarity. Capillarity is defined as the phenomena of rise or fall of a liquid surface in a small tube as compared to the level of the liquid outside the tube. In sometimes this is the rise of the liquid takes place, and sometimes there is a fall in the liquid takes place below the outside liquid level. So another definition is compressibility, which is defined as the ratio of volumetric strain of a fluid to the applied pressure. Therefore, B, compressibility beta, is equal to volumetric strain divided by applied pressure. The commonly used two important words in this subject are fluid pressure. Pressure is the force exerted by the fluid per unit area. Therefore, P is equal to force by area. Its unit is Newton per meter square. It is also called as Pascal, or it is also measured as bar, and 1 bar is equal to 1 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. Sometimes he will ask the difference between ideal fluid and the real fluid. So already I have explained the ideal fluid is an imaginary fluid, whereas real fluid is actually available in the practice. Ideal fluid is incompressible and real fluid is compressible. Ideal fluid has no viscosity, whereas the real fluid is having viscosity. And ideal fluid not available in practice, but real fluid is available in practice. Along with that, he will also ask some important terms, and the two important terms are pressure intensity and pressure head. These are the commonly used word in this chapter. One is pressure intensity. How you define pressure intensity? It is defined as the ratio of weight of the fluid in a vessel to cross-sectional area of the vessel. That is, P is equal to weight of the fluid divided by cross-sectional area of the vessel. So weight is specific weight into value, and cross-sectional area is A. Therefore, specific weight is W, volume is area into height. So area get cancelled. Therefore, pressure is equal to specific weight into height. So the unit is Newton per meter square. The another one is pressure head. So pressure head means it is another method of representing the pressure. It is a pressure intensity exerted at the base of the column of a homogeneous fluid. Therefore, pressure head is P by rho. These are the two important definitions. Head is measured usually in terms of meters. So then, as we know the pressure, there are different types of pressures, and we want to get the relations between them. The one, as pressure means, the first question is, or the first term is atmospheric pressure. What is atmospheric pressure? It is the pressure at the surface of the earth exerted by the head of air above the surface. It is usually called as P atmosphere. There is another pressure called as absolute pressure. So it is the pressure measured with reference to the absolute vacuum pressure. And gauge pressure means it is the pressure measured by a pressure measuring instruments. So vacuum pressure is another pressure which is a pressure below the atmospheric pressure. Pressure may be above the atmospheric pressure which can be measured by the gauge called as gauge pressure. Pressure may be below the atmospheric pressure and it is measured vacuum gauges, and it is usually called as a negative pressure known as a vacuum pressure. The following figure is giving you the relation between them. So you will be having at the middle line is atmospheric pressure, below this atmospheric pressure is vacuum pressure, and above this atmospheric pressure is gauge pressure. And so this entire pressure is measured from the baseline, and that is called as absolute pressure. Therefore absolute pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure, and absolute pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure minus vacuum pressure. So both also correct. If it is a negative pressure, atmospheric pressure minus vacuum pressure. If it is a positive pressure, then absolute pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure. The next one is how this pressure is measured. There are different pressure measuring instruments are there, pressure measuring devices are there, and they are basically classified as I am showing in this figure. These pressure measuring devices are basically classified into two groups. One is known as manometers. Second one is called as mechanical gauges. The manometers are again classified as simple manometer and differential manometer. In simple manometer, there is a piezometer and also there is a U-tube manometer. Whereas in differential manometer, there is U-tube differential manometer and inverted U-tube differential manometer. Whereas the mechanical gauges, which are working on the principle of mechanical energy, the gauges are classified as diaphragm pressure gauge, Bardon tube pressure gauge, deadweight pressure gauge, and bellow pressure gauge. So out of these, for only your syllabus only will be having Bardon tube pressure gauge. It is asked for 7 marks many times in the question paper, and another one is diaphragm pressure gauge. Now I will take one by one how these pressure gauges are working and what are the working principle of that. The first one is piezometer. It is a very simple device used to measure the pressure at a point. So figure is showing, so container is containing a fluid and it is connected with a rectangular column. We want to measure the pressure at A. So you want to measure the pressure at A. So how much the liquid rises in the vertical column? If H is the height of the liquid, then what we can write, already you know that pressure at A point is given by P is equal to W into H. That is, W is called as specific weight and H is called as the height of the liquid raised in the vertical column. It is a very simple method to measure the pressure, but it is not suitable for measuring the negative pressure. So there is another commonly used device to measure the pressure is called as a simple U-tube manometer. As the name itself indicates, it is in the shape of U. It has two vertical limbs connected by a U shape. One end is connected to the container where the pressure is to be measured, and it is having mercury to get the rise of the liquid. Our pressure is to be measured in the terms of height of the mercury. As the figure is showing you, there are two heights. One is H1, second one is H2. H1 is height of the liquid above a common line, datum line called as XX, and H2 is height of the mercury. On the right limb you can see the mercury, and the left limb you can see the liquid present in the container, and the difference between the pressure head is represented as H. S1 is the specific gravity of the liquid and S2 is the specific gravity of the mercury. But from the figure it is followed that the pressure head above the datum line, that is XX, in the left column and right column is same. Means pressure head at left column is equal to the pressure head at the right column. But what is the pressure head in the left column? It is H plus H1 S1. And in the right column, it is H2 S2. And we know that we want to measure the pressure difference. Therefore, H is equal to H2 S2 minus H1 S1. Means pressure head at A is H is equal to H2 S2 minus H1 S1. So this is measured as meters of water. Then next is differential manometer. We have studied now simple manometers. So what are the differential manometers? Differential manometers are used for measuring the difference of pressure between the 2 points. Because the above 2 devices are used to measure the pressure at a point. You cannot measure the pressure difference there, but by using differential manometer, we can measure the difference in the pressure between the 2 points. And there are different types of differential manometers. As already I told, U-tube differential manometer and inverted U-tube differential manometer. Here, the figure is explaining the working of U-tube differential manometer, and as it is used to measure the pressure difference between the 2 points, one point is A, another point is B, one end is connected to the A point, another end is connected to the B point, and we want to measure the pressure difference between them. Here H is the difference of mercury level in U-tube, and X is, this is very important, most of the students will not able to write properly what is X and Y. You please note carefully here. X is distance of mercury level at right limb from the point 1, 1. So from the point XX you can say here. And Y is distance of mercury level in the right limb from the point B. So X is from the point A and Y is from the point B. S1 specific gravity of liquid A and S2 specific gravity of liquid B, and Sg is specific gravity of the mercury, because here we are having 2 liquids. One liquid is at A and another liquid is at B. As the pressure at both the sides are same, we can write here HA plus H plus X into S1 is equal to HB plus H plus Sg plus Y into S2. We need to measure the pressure difference. Therefore, HA minus HB is equal to HSG plus YS2 minus H plus X S1. HSG plus YS2 minus HS1 minus XH1. Taking common H, we get H into bracket Sg minus S1 minus XS1 plus YS2. Pressure head difference between A and B, that is HA minus HB, is given as H into bracket Sg minus S1 plus YS2 minus XS1. So this formula will explain or help us to measure the pressure difference between the 2 points. Sometimes you will ask 5 marks, distinguish between simple and differential manometers. So in simple manometer, measures a pressure at a point only, whereas differential manometer measures the pressure difference between the 2 points. Simple manometer, one end is open to the atmosphere, whereas in differential manometer, both ends are connected to the points where the pressure difference is to be measured. Simple manometer is simple to get the reading, whereas measure the pressure by using differential manometer is somewhat complicated. It measures high as well as negative pressures also, simple manometer, whereas differential manometer measures the difference between the pressure between the 2 points. It is simple manometer is simple in handling, whereas the differential manometer is very complicated in handling. The another type of differential manometer is inverted. As the name itself indicated, we can see the figure that U-tube is inverted here. Almost it is the same, but the only difference is here U-tube is connected to the container A and B in the inverted shape. The remaining part will be the same. Here, as the figure indicates, H1 is representing height of the liquid in the left limb from below the XX, and H2 height of the liquid in the right limb below the XX. H difference of the liquid height. S1 specific gravity of liquid A. S2 specific gravity of liquid B. S specific gravity of the light liquid, and HA pressure head at A, HB pressure head at B. Because XX is the pressure head between the left limb and the right limb. So what we can write here is the total pressure remains the same. Therefore, HA minus H1S1 is equal to HB minus H2S2 minus HS. Or the pressure difference HA minus HB is equal to H1S1 minus H2S2 minus H into S. So this is how the working of the differential inverted U2 manometer formula is given. Now the mechanical gauges. The two mechanical gauges, the one commonly used question is Bourdon tube pressure gauge. So this is a Bourdon tube, as itself indicates, it is a circularly bent shaped tube which is connected to the point where the pressure is to be maintained, and here we are using the rack and pinion arrangement, and it is connected to that one. The pointer is connected to the pinion and one end is connected to the rack. So pointer is moving over the scale. Here what happens, when the pressure, when the fluid under pressure flows through this Bourdon tube, so there is a expansion of the Bourdon tube, and because of the stretching, the rack and pinion movement arrangement, and this arrangement is moving the pointer over the scale, and this movement is directly proportional to the pressure in the tube. Therefore, the reading shown by the pointer is giving you the pressure of the fluid which is flowing through the Bourdon tube. So that is what is called as a mechanical pressure gauge. Similarly, another type of gauge is called as a diaphragm pressure gauge. It is almost the same, but here instead of we are using another part is called as a diaphragm. Here also the diaphragm end is connected to the point where the pressure is to be measured, and it is connected to the again rack and pinion arrangement. When the fluid flows into the pipe, because of the pressure difference, the diaphragm moves up and down, and that will give you the movement to the rack and pinion arrangement. As the pointer is connected to the pinion, when the pinion is rotating, the pointer moves over the graduated scale, and this movement is directly proportional to the pressure of the fluid inside the tube, and thus it can measure the pressure. So this is how the diagram and explanation of the measurement takes place. So this is about what is called as the two important gauges. Sometimes he may also ask the question regarding the difference between manometer and mechanical gauges. So manometers means they are used to measure other we can get the difference between them. Manometer reads very low pressure, whereas mechanical gauges reads much larger pressure. The manometer works on the principle of balancing the column of liquid versus pressure to be measured, whereas mechanical gauges works on the principle of balancing the fluid column by spring or dead weight. The example for manometers are simple manometer, differential manometer, and mechanical gauges are Bourdon tube gauge, diaphragm gauge, dead weight pressure gauge, etc. So that is about this chapter. This chapter carries 25 marks. And please go through, I have already given these notes. Please listen this carefully. Once again go through this video, and if any doubts are there, feel free to ask the questions regarding this chapter, and we will meet again in the discussion of next chapter. Thank you.